Typically, any patient who's nearsighted or myopia or has some astigmatism, which is the shape of the eyes instead of a soccer ball, it's like an American football, is a good candidate for SMILE. Let's understand the differences in the actual procedure of LASIK versus SMILE. LASIK, the idea is you create a flap door, like a hinge, lift that flap door, and then another laser corrects the shape of the cornea and reshapes it in order to correct one's prescription, and then that flap door is replaced into position. In SMILE, the difference is that it's minimally invasive. There is no flap. There's a very small pocket incision, if you will, and the idea is that the laser is able to create a disc-shaped tissue called the lenticule within the body of the cornea, and then accessible through that small pocket incision. And when you remove that lenticule, the top and the bottom layers of the cornea come together nicely. And again, your prescription is corrected that way. And so slightly different ways to do them, but both work very well and both are very safe and effective. So for people who live a very active lifestyle, even do martial arts and things like that, the cool thing about SMILE, by being flapless, there is really much less concerns about flap complications because there is no flap. And so you know that right after the procedure, you're able to go back to your life and go back to your normal day-to-day activities without worrying, well, what if I hit my eyes or what if something hits my eyes? So for that reason, I think SMILE is a great option for people who live a very active lifestyle. So typically you cannot do a SMILE procedure twice, and the reason for that is within the body of the cornea, that initial interface that was created by the first SMILE procedure is really critical, and you don't want to interfere with that. And so in cases, let's say you get a little bit older and your prescription changes after your first SMILE procedure, there is the opportunity to still correct your prescription through laser refractive surgery. We would be doing a LASIK or a PRK on top of that SMILE, and that works very well. SMILE, like most other refractive procedures, is a very safe and effective surgery. But of course, there is always side effects to any procedure. In SMILE, like any other refractive procedure, one of the things to consider is, did you hit the prescription bang on? So, the way the cornea heals in response to the treatment may not always be completely predictable. That's pretty rare. Usually about 1 to 2% of the time, there may be a need for a touch-up or enhancement after a SMILE procedure. Also, there is some risk of dry eyes, especially if you came in before surgery with some dry eyes. And so that's why we want to make sure that you continue to use lots of lubricant drops before, during, and after surgery as well. But again, dry eyes is less common than procedures like LASIK or PRK. More rare complications like inflammation, infection is super, super rare. But again, this is why we monitor you after surgery multiple times. And again, you're on antibiotics and anti-inflammatory drops to ensure that you have a nice, smooth recovery process after SMILE procedure. The recovery period of LASIK and SMILE is actually very comparable. Shortly after surgery, the little flap edge of LASIK or the little pocket incision of SMILE begin to heal. The recovery process, even within the first few hours, is really painless and comfortable. The next day, you're beginning to see a lot better. Of course, there may still be a little bit of a foggy vision, but it gets crisper literally hour by hour. But within the first day in SMILE, you can go back to your normal activities. With LASIK, I'd want to make sure you're a little bit more careful so that you're not accidentally touching the eyes or anything is coming close to the eyes. Because again, that flap is healing and is a little bit fragile in the first early postoperative period. But otherwise, you really are able to go back to your regular day-to-day activities in both procedures with a little bit more comfort and reassurance with SMILE that you're not worried about what if something comes at you.